today we are doing a quiz review. At the end of the class, we'll do the quiz. So let's just go through the review real quick. This should help you if you're needing to do test corrections or if you happen to miss class and need some way to prepare for the quiz. Again, these answers are identical to the questions are identical to the quiz itself. Literally, all we have done is change out the numbers. So you need to understand how to do it. If you just memorize these answers, they are not going to help you on the quiz. Okay? So our first one, Jessica drove from Iowa to New York City to catch her favorite play, Wicked. The speed limit on the trip was 75 miles per hour since she was able to take the interstate the entire way. If Jessica's combined driving time for the trip was 12 hours, how many miles did she drive? There's our question. Please, guys, I can't beg you any harder. Please, just show your work on this. If you will write it all out, this is easy. If you start looking at the problems and decide that you know in your little brain what you're supposed to do, you may get this right, but this is going to trip you up. We've kept the numbers easy for now to get you to learn the process. If you understand the process, the numbers really aren't a big deal. The process is I start with the rate that they have given me, and I write it out, including the units. How long does this take? 3 seconds? I put an equal sign. I draw my bar. I immediately write the units that I had from the first one. And I can throw up my magic box. They have to give me a third piece of information or I can't solve it. Flat out. What's the third piece they gave me? 12 hours. If I've already written down the units, there's no question where that goes, is there? No, it's right here, guys, because that's where hours is. The last step is just figuring out, how did I get from there to there? Times 12. Tells me exactly what I need to do with my top number. So there aren't any questions when the numbers get hard. So I just multiply this by 12. I get 150, 75. That adds up to 900. And don't forget to answer it. She drove 900 miles. Or if you're Jessica, I drove 900 miles. Can I just put 900 miles? Is that not a word problem? It is a word problem, so I need a full sentence answer, Jonah. Good question, though. Okay, Reese is participating in a fundraiser walkathon. She walks 2 miles in 20 minutes. If she continues to walk at the same rate, determine how many minutes it will take her to walk 7 miles. Okay? So this is one of those I put together for those of you that are just trying to do all this stuff in your head. This one makes it a lot harder if you're trying to do that. But watch what happens if I write this out. 2 miles, 20 minutes, equals, draw my blank, miles, minutes, put my box. What was the other piece of information they gave me? Nora? 7 what? Miles, because that tells me where that number goes, doesn't it? Can I go easily from 2 to 7? No. Now, I do have an option. I can divide that. I'd find out it's 3 5/10. But I have an easier option, don't I? What is it? I can just simplify this. I can divide that by 2. I can go 1 mile for 10 minutes. What we've just done is what we call step back. So I can step back or simplify. The key on this is recognize where I am coming from. How do I go from 1 to 7? Times 7. So since I'm at this proportion, I need to multiply the 7 times the 10. So 10 times 7 gives me 70 minutes. Okay? So it will take 70 minutes. Any questions on that step back problem? Big hint, it's very similar to what you're going to see on your quiz. Okay, Patricia enjoys swimming and swims at a steady pace to burn calories. At this pace, she can swim 2,200 meters in 40 minutes. How far does she swim in 1 minute? So there's our question. Again, you'll see every single one of these is setting up the same way, right? Over 40 minutes. And I know I want some number of meters over some number of minutes, but now I want to know 1 minute. So the minute goes there. How do I go 40 to 1? Divide by 40. So I'm going to take 2,200, divide it by 40. It's going to go 5 times. That's all I do. 5 times gives us 55. So she can go 55 meters. So the next one, and I'll apologize, I don't know why I didn't run the numbers a little more closely when I did this. It does end up as a decimal. But using the information from number 3, in other words, this piece right here, how long will it take her to swim 3,000 meters? So now we're going to start with our 55 meters in a minute. And I know it's going to be 3,000 meters. I just don't know how many minutes. So my magic box says, how do I go from 55 to 3,000? Well, if I don't know that, I do the reverse operation. In other words, I'm going to take 3,000, divide by 55. So take my 3,000, divide by 55. It's going to go 5 times. Gives us 250. That's going to go 4 times. 220. So actually what we see right now, guys, is what we call a repeating situation. See how I had 300 here? This is going to happen forever. It's going to just bounce back and forth. So what we're going to, that's why I told you just round to the nearest tenth on that one. So how long is it going to take her? 54.5 minutes. Any questions on page 1? Okay. Hint, hint. That's your entire first page of the quiz. Here's your entire second page. Okay, Joe, Zeke, and Gabe are triplets who always argue over and who can answer basic math facts the fastest. After completing a few different math activities, they record their data shown below. Joe uses an equation where T represents the time in seconds, M represents the number of math facts. Gabe uses a chart, Zeke uses a table. So what is the math fact completion rate for each student? So when I talk about rate, that means I need to compare units, but we want really a unit rate, which means I want it to get down to 1. So for Joe, he's the one that used my equation right here. That's the easiest one of all, guys, because if I have an equation, I can put whatever number I want in for the time, can't I? If I'm going to compare them, what time do I want? 1 second. So I just put a 1 in for the t. M equals 4 times 1. That's a 1, not a t. So how many did he do in 1 second? 4. So he does 4 facts per second in 1 second. Zeke used the table. Okay? Now the table is set up backwards. I've already got my comparison here, though. I know it's facts per second. That should help you set this up. So I have 36 facts in 6 seconds. But what I really want is to know how many facts he can do in 1 second. How do I go from 6 to 1? Divide by 6. So what do I do to the 36? Divide by 6. So what does he do? 6 facts per second. Okay? Gabe has a chart. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. This is actually a little different than the test. So on the test, what if I only had a number, or a dot, on the even ones? Could I still figure that out? Yes, I have 2 options. I could actually use a straight edge and draw in the line, which would then allow me to go up from 1. Or I could just say, since they gave me the 2, how many did he do in 2 seconds? 10. Can everybody see that pretty easily? If I have 10 facts in 2 seconds, can I get that down to 1? Yes, I would just do what? Divide by 2. That gives me 5 facts per second. Does that make sense? Sophie, you're drawing. Okay. I thought you were asking a question. Okay, who is the fastest? How do you know? So 2 parts to the question. This is so we can see, are you understanding the math, that these numbers mean something? So who do we say is the fastest on this? Why? Okay. Okay. Good. Well, that's a great explanation. Well done, John. So he did the most in 1 second. Is the easy way to say everything that he just did. If you gave the answer that Sean just gave, I might even think about giving you bonus points because that was a really good explanation. But the bottom line is just recognize. All I'm saying is who does the most in 1 second. Okay, a carpenter uses 6 nails to install each shelf. Complete the table, there's our task, to represent the relationship between the number of nails N and the number of shelves S. So when I build a chart, the first thing I do is fill it in, N and S. How many nails was it? 6. Each shelf, what number is that? 1. Then my next entry, I just go, do not forget to show your work. Guys, we have to know that you understand what you're doing. By showing us you understand this relationship, you're demonstrating that knowledge. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, our last step, building the equations. This should be super easy. So write 2 equations using the data from the table. 1 for nails, 1 for shelves. This should be a hint for you. So easy, you should smile. Literally, guys, all we're doing, I'm starting at the end, I'm making a huge smile out of this. So N equals, the first number is a 6, second number is a 1, the last letter is an S. 6 over 1 will simplify to 6S. My other one, now I'm just going the other way. So S equals, going the other way, first number is a 1, second number is a 6. Can't simplify that, Bam, I'm done. That's your quiz, guys. Any questions? Only 10 questions. The exact same 10 questions you see here. Okay.